Thank you so much, Mrs. Foreman. I am truly humbled to receive this award. I cannot thank you and your late husband, Ed, enough for all the generosity you have shown both to Stetson and to me. Your magnanimity inspires me, and I only hope that someday I can follow in your footsteps and do just a fraction of what you have done for this community. Thank you so much. I also want to thank the past Foreman winners. I am so grateful for the warmth and kindness you have already shown me, and I know I am truly lucky to count myself among your ranks. Finally, I need to thank my friends and classmates and the faculty of the College of Law. It is you that have made my experience over the past few years so wonderful, and I am so fortunate to have had the opportunity to learn from you, to laugh with you, and, as anyone who knows me can well attest, to conscript you into service as involuntary psychiatrists on an almost daily basis. Now, I've got to be honest, when I first came to attend Stetson some 3 years ago, I was in a low place, a not so great place. And a few weeks ago, I was leafing through the novel Great Expectations by Charles Dickens when I came across the following passage that I think is fitting to describe what the last few years have been like for me. For those who know the story, Pip, the protagonist, has just returned from visiting Miss Havisham's house for the first time. The passage goes something like this. That was a memorable day for me, for it made great changes in me. But it is the same with any life. Imagine one selected day struck out of it, and think how different its course would have been. Pause, you who read this, and think for a moment of the long chain of iron or gold, of thorns or flowers that would never have bound you, but for the formation of the first link on one memorable day. My experience at Stetson has been more than just a chain of memorable days. In fact, it has been a chain of people, one by one, doing things for me out of total selflessness. The truth is that if a few people hadn't taken chances on me and showed me complete and utter generosity, were it not for this chain of heroes in my life, and of course for the grace of God, I would not be here today. The first link in the chain actually occurred before I ever started here, when I first applied to Stetson in 2009. I had applied late, it was well into August, and there was nothing particularly promising about my situation. But Laura Zuppo and Darren Kettles in the Office of Admissions took a chance on me. They had no reason to do so, other than kindness and compassion, I suppose, but they gave me the chance to come and study here, and I cannot thank them enough for that. Over the next month, as I started classes and realized I really had no idea what I was doing, it just so happened that my first-year civil procedure professor was Mike Allen. It didn't take long for me to discover how special Professor Allen is. My family was all up in New York City, and he took so much time with me, both inside and outside the classroom, that we quickly developed a close relationship. Here I was, the rather odd character, sitting in the back of his classroom wearing distressed blue t-shirts and drinking a troubling number of cans of Mountain Dew soda out of the side of my mouth, and Professor Allen still took the time to meet me outside of class to discuss the material, guide me through personal issues as they arose, and to simply be there for me. He became part of my family here in Florida, and it is people like Professor Allen that make Stetson feel like home, that make this a magical place. Over the next few years, I studied under him almost every term and served on 3 of his moot court teams. He is truly an extraordinary teacher, a trusted confidant, and, perhaps most important, a dear friend. I'm endlessly grateful to know him. Thank you, Professor Allen. Later in my first year, I met Jason Stearns at a Hillsborough County Bar Association dinner. Jason was a Stetson alumnus already working for one of the larger firms here in Tampa. I remember being so intimidated by him. He had won the Foreman Award in 2008 and was already a huge success as a lawyer. But we got to talking, and Jason was so kind to me that night. That summer, when I served on a moot court team that Jason was coaching, he took the time to talk me through things, not just things regarding the moot court competition, but also life in general. He became a great friend and mentor to me. You know, when Mrs. Foreman first told me that I would be receiving this award, she told me that all the past Foreman Award winners would now be my brothers and sisters. And though it may only now be official, I know that in Jason I've had a big brother for quite some time now already. The next summer, I was lucky enough to receive a position as a summer associate at Holland and Knight here in Tampa. About 3 days into the summer, John Germany invited me to his office. To give a bit of background, there is no more lionized a figure at Holland and Knight than Mr. Germany. He essentially founded the firm. Mr. Germany and I talked for hours that day, and so began a profound friendship. He has taken me under his wing here in Tampa, and I am so grateful for his kindness, his wisdom, and his unwavering support. Thank you, Mr. Germany. The next link in the chain was the direct result of a previous one. I had participated in the Stevenson Federal Judicial Internship Program, and Professor Allen, who runs the program, had assigned me to work for Judge Elizabeth Kovacevic. I remember that as part of the internship program, we had to write a daily journal. And I wrote in my journal the first day that I would never forget watching Judge Kay sentence a defendant for the first time. She had sentenced him to several decades in prison. And I remember being awestruck by the fact that this man, as he was led from the courtroom, actually paused, turned about, and thanked her for what she had just done. I knew at that moment that I was in the presence of a truly remarkable woman. And this past January, I was fortunate enough to begin serving in a full-time capacity as Judge Kay's law clerk. Working for Judge Kay has been a dream come true and has taught me so much. It must be Providence that brought her into my life, because Judge Kay is literally one of the most kind and generous people I have ever come across. She inspires me to be a better person, to be of service to others, and above all else, to be resolute in always doing the right thing. Judge Kay invigorates my faith, and every day that I walk into her chambers, I think to myself, how blessed I am to work for someone so remarkable, so caring, and so magnanimous. Thank you, Your Honor, for all that you do and for inspiring me so. Now, speaking of my time with Judge Kay, I would be remiss if I didn't specifically thank Judge Kay's longtime clerk, Cheryl Newton. Cheryl, who is here with us today, has been so kind to me and helped me make the transition to Chambers life. She supervised the Stevenson Federal Judicial Internship Program for Judge Kay for over 20 years and has made a real difference in literally hundreds of Stetson students' lives. I appreciate all you have done, Cheryl. Thank you so much. It is fitting, then, that my Stetson experience ends as it began, with someone taking a chance on me. Mrs. Foreman, I cannot put down in words how much it means to me to receive Ed's eponymous award. I have no doubt that I am unworthy of your generosity, but it is people like you that make Stetson special. The things you have done for this school and for this community are an inspiration to us all. I only hope that I can do for others in my life just a fragment of what you have done, that I can someday, somehow, someday, pay it forward. I cannot thank you enough. But there is one group, one momentous link in the chain that I have purposefully omitted thus far, and it is the most important one. Mom, Dad, my amazing stepfather, Rick, and my wonderful stepmother, Alex, thank you so much for not giving up on me. You have always been my champions, and you have always shown me love no matter what circumstance I found myself in. You steel me in the knowledge that I am supported in this life no matter what happens, and were it not for you, to return to Dickens and Great Expectations for just a moment, there is no doubt that I would today bear a chain of thorns. I am overcome with emotion when I think of how you continued to believe in me when there was no reason to do so. And I am overcome with gratitude when I think of how you continued to take chances on me when I was deserving of none. I am the luckiest guy in the world to have you as my parents, and I feel blessed each and every day I have you in my life. I love you. Now, I could go on and talk about people in my class. I could talk about friends who have come to be with me here today. Don't worry, I won't do that, because I know we are constrained for time. But what I can say is that one of the great things about Dickens' story, about how a moment can change a life and there are links and chains that bring these moments together, is that this story is not just my story, it is all of our stories. And while the people who forged the links in my story may be different and have different names than the people in your story, we are all here today because of the people in our lives, some of them who didn't even know they did it, who helped us along the way. And so I thank all of you, even those who don't think you have made a difference in my life, because you most certainly have. To all of you, to everyone who has touched my life these past years, for all the kindness and generosity you have shown me, I am and will forever be endlessly grateful. Thank you.